Manchester United fans, transfers for the incoming done. There we are, guys. It's a sobering night. It's a sobering day. It's a sobering day and night, however you want to put it, for Manchester United. And I think we've had a good run. Manchester United in the transfer window, I think we've had a good run. I think we've signed some exciting players, but we are being hit with the cold, hard reality today that, unfortunately, I think Manchester United's transfer market business, I think, might be done. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. We've obviously seen the news that Manchester United are frantically now, with 10 days left of the transfer window, trying their best to get some of these players out of the squad. And when I say some of these players out of the club, I mean the usuals. We know who the usuals are. I'm sick of mentioning their names, but that is the reality. And unfortunately, it seems that the chickens have come home to roost. And when I say the chickens have come home to roost, I don't put that on Ineos. I definitely don't put that on Ineos. I think Ineos are blameless, and I will say that. I think the problem we've got here is that we have a group of players on a very, very big wage who know that they don't have to leave the club if they don't want to, only on their terms. And Manchester United, for a while, you could say one of them maybe, you could say, now you're going nowhere. But unfortunately, we are paying for the mistakes of the people who ran the club previous. And because of that, I think that is why we saw a Belabor transfer offer of around £55 million, if you believe it. And that's why I think we're seeing Manchester United being very, very quiet on the transfer front. Now, of course, it's the pre-season. It's transfer markets. You know that the agents of some players who are looking for moves are always going to use Manchester United's name in the news. They're going to do it for one reason. They want their players to be at the front. They want their players to be noticed and linked with these big clubs. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's say a few hellos before we get into this. Good evening, Waha. I can't even sing it tonight, mate. I'm depressed. I hope you're well as well, my friend. And good to see you, Chappie. Moxie, good to see you, beautiful man. And remember, guys, make sure you like and subscribe on the video. Steve-O, good to see you. Yo, 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 yourself, bruh. Brian, yes, here he is. Jordan, good to see you, my man. And Mustafa, great to see you. Andy, good to see you. And Mustafa, we will go on to that shortly, mate. Now, here's where I lie with Manchester United and transfers, and here's my issue with certain players and certain ex-players. Now, the two I'm going to mention straight off the bat, two people who I wish would just keep their mouth shut, just keep their gobs shut. One is Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand, who for the last 3 weeks we have seen on every network, every bit of TV, social networking, TikTok, Twitter, Bebo. We'll go as far back as Bebo. We've seen this guy, a club legend, let's have it right, come to the forefront and say, United, they got to get Belabor. Belabor's a Manchester United player. He wants to come to the club. We just go out there, we spend the money, bish, bash, bosh. Like it's that easy, Rio. Like it's that easy. And now, because Belabor's done, that's not happening. What's he doing now? You know what? United have got to go out there and get Wharton. They've got to get Wharton. It's got to be done. Now, I'm going to say something about Rio Ferdinand. I still don't forget, Rio, when you were sat there trying to say that you were in the know. I remember when Rio Ferdinand was telling the whole world, I'll never forget it, he said, Tuesday, that's when the Qataris are going to announce they're coming to United. This clown, man, honestly, as a footballer, I adored him. But as a pundit, I listened to this guy talk and I think, you just don't know what you're talking about. So when I hear him say, well, United just go out and get Wharton now, that's what they need to do. Yeah, Rio, we couldn't afford Belabor, mate. So what on earth are you thinking with your platform going out there and saying to United fans, Wharton's the one. Let's go get Wharton. It just isn't that easy, Rio. And then you got Rooney, and I adore Rooney. Rooney's like in my top 3 all-time favourite United players. Going out there saying, I can't believe we're not going for Donnarumma. I can't believe it. Was it? Seriously, bro, yeah? Like, stop with these ridiculous. We are not Man City. We are not Chelsea. We're not Liverpool. We're not Arsenal. We don't have that money. And I'm sick to death of these ex-players coming out with these ridiculous ideas. Oh, it's all right. You should go get Donnarumma. Fucking, that's a horrendous Scouse accent, by the way. But this is where we are. We've got these ex-players coming out basically playing Football Manager, playing FIFA. And it absolutely annoys me. Now, the news coming out today is that Ruben Amorim now views Ugarte and Casemiro as competitors for one of the deeper midfielder roles, and then views Fernandes and Mainu as competitors for the partnership's other side. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, okay, in theory, by name, you go, well, that's all right. But this here is Manchester United's, let me just bring it up. This is Manchester United's midfield options going into the rest of this season now. Don't know why I'm trying to do a video. Don't know why he's talking to a tree. Let's get these up. Desktop. Here we go. This is Manchester United's midfield options for the rest of the season. Remember, we got rid of Toby Collier as well. He's gone out on loan to West Brom. This is Manchester United's midfield options for the rest of the season. Bruno, Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo, and Ugarte. Then you've got Kone, who hasn't played a single minute in pre-season for us. He's barely playing in the under-21s. And then we've got some people who keep telling me Manchester United are going to use Mount as a central midfielder, when Mount isn't a central midfielder. So this concerns me. If this is Manchester United's midfield options for the rest of the season, then I think we got issues. And I think you all know we've got issues. We are unfortunately stuck by the players that will not leave this club. And you know exactly which players. The Garnachos, the Sanchos, the Antonys, the Malacia I'm not going to go at. This is a problem. And do you know something? I'll put that back up in a bit. Let me put my badge back up there. The pre-season started fantastic. With the players we brought in, we went, do you know something? United are back. We're spending money. And we spent money where we needed to spend it. We know that Manchester United went out there and bought the players initially where we needed strengthening. We needed a new striker. We needed the 210s. Leon is a backup left back. We know that. Here's where the problem lies now. Manchester United, Ineos, Barada, Sir Jim, whoever you want to put the blame on, and I don't think that it's the blame on these people. They were expecting to get rid of the bomb squad. They were expecting these players to have gone long before, what are we now, the 20th of August. And you have to say that these players potentially are going to get what they want. And that annoys me. Anthony has said no to everybody else. He only wants Betis. Garnacho doesn't care if... And what a poor attitude for a lad his age. It's either Chelsea or I'll sit and do nothing. That's great. That's great. Why a club wants this fool is beyond me. And then Sancho, we've seen a bit of spin today from Sky Sports that apparently it's not Sancho, it's the agent. I still don't believe that one little bit, because who is the agent advising on behalf of? The player. But there's 3 players there that could easily make us money. Now, Garnacho, I fully agree with Manchester United. We should be getting the money for that. We should be getting a minimum of 45. But Sancho and Anthony hold all the power, and they know they do. They absolutely know they do. Between them, you've got about 60 million's worth of money there. Well, 60 million goes out and gets a midfielder for Manchester United this summer. I think Manchester United are actually being smart in the sense of we've seen all of the stories that have been broken that Manchester United have got the credit card to use if they want it. And yeah, okay, let's go out there and blow all that money now. Let's go out and blow all that money now and get a player in. What happens if it goes wrong, folks? What happens if the season still goes wrong and we end up out of Europe again, and then we've bought on the credit card, we've got high interest repayments on these players that will come in installments? What happens then? So I'm not saying I'm an Ineos sympathiser here, but what I am saying is the reason that Manchester United aren't able to go out there and buy any more players at the moment is because we have 3 players that absolutely want to watch the club burn. We've got 2 players of those 3 players that have no ambition. That have no ambition, shouldn't be listed as footballers. It always makes me laugh. They talk about footballers having a low IQ. They always used to mock Becks for it, didn't they? Beckham's got a low IQ. Well, these 2 that we're talking about, Sancho and Garnacho, have the lowest IQ of the lot of them. You've got one that willingly has pictures taken of him vaping, having a tattoo done. Yeah, you're meant to be a role model, son, yeah? You're meant to be a role model, yeah? You think you're Ronaldo. Ronaldo is, honestly, worth 1 million of you. In fact, you know something? He's worth 90 million of you. Then you have Sancho, who World Cup year, and I said this so much earlier on in the transfer window. World Cup year, why wouldn't these players want to go out there and get a move? And he doesn't care. This fool doesn't care. He just wants to sit there and get as much money as possible. So the reason Manchester United quite rightly aren't going out there and spending on the credit card is because they've got players that they could make money on. And look, Manchester United could get lucky over the next 7 days and we could end up getting a lot of these players out. We could. But they can't leave on loan. Anthony cannot leave on loan. We need full sale with that one. He has to go. Garnacho cannot go for 25 million. He's got to go for 45 million. Sancho, just take the money. Like, honestly, if there's an ounce of decency in you, take the money. We need that money from him. He's still collecting 250 grand a week. 250 grand a week this guy's collecting. Honestly. Oh, let me go through some of these comments. Jordan says loan moves are the best chance. I don't want loans, though, Jordan. Like, I don't know if I'm United fans, rival fans. Are you like, I don't want loan players. Don't want loan players. It's either bring them in or there's no point, mate. I get what you're saying to save the money, but nah, just don't see it. Sancho rejecting Roma. Yeah, he is our worst signing. You're completely right, Mustafa. And Isaac, good to see you, my friend. And Chappie, as Chappie's saying, make sure you like and subscribe on the video there. We want to make sure we're getting as high as possible here. Good evening, Dan, and good evening, everyone, says Anthony. Mugawa, says, hello, my brother. Thanks for the updates. I'm a United fan from Uganda. I want to know who's coming to our team, Man United. Well, the update is at the moment, until we get these bozos out the club, buddy, we're not getting anybody else. And thanks for that. I see Arsenal have moved pretty quick to hijack the Eze to Spurs deal. All this after the performance against United. Please go to Tottenham. Honestly, Moxie, Spurs must be absolutely livid at that. If I was Spurs, I'd be fuming. Yeah, Eze would do himself and me a huge favour not going to Arsenal. I think, Dan, if we don't get anyone, it's going to be all about Amrim's tactics to try and stabilise the midfield and hope the players learn fast. You can be absolutely sure of this now, Manchester United fans. If Amarim's been told that he is not getting any more signings in, we have to make sure that this works, because the 2 midfielders for the deeper lying role is Ugarte and Casemiro. Casemiro showed that for 60 minutes he can do it. He can roll back the years, but he can't do it consistently 90 minutes every week. Ugarte, look, I'm going to do the power of positivity, and I'm going to put my full backing behind him. As far as I'm concerned, now it's a fresh start. I need to be positive about this player. I think I've been very negative, and he is a Manchester United player who wants to play for this club. So I'm going to have to be positive about this guy, but he's got work to do. And then obviously we've got Mainu and we've got Bruno fighting for one position, which for me is absolutely terrifying, because we know, you know, rival fans know that Bruno Fernandes does not get dropped. He doesn't. He will be played in and out of form. So for me, I worry what happens with Mainu this season. If Mainu honestly sits there and thinks he's getting in ahead of Bruno at any point other than Carabao Cup games and early FA Cup reigns, and let's be honest, Bruno plays in them as well, then he's mistaken. I think we will struggle against Fulham. The writing's on the wall. We need a goalkeeper and a midfielder, or we could finish 8th. Well, I'm going to say no to that, Andy. I think we go and I think we beat Fulham. I genuinely do. I'm absolutely confident that we go out there and we beat Fulham. I think Manchester United, regardless being on the back of this bad news that we are seeing with the players that we are going to have to stick with, I think Manchester United go and do something they haven't done under Amorim in the next couple of weeks. And I think we go and win back-to-back games in the league. I do. I saw enough on Sunday with a goalkeeper in being there who, let's be honest, is worse than Onana, to believe there that we've actually got some of the tools, not all of the tools, but we've got some of the tools to go out there and do something this season. Now, Manchester United aren't Champions League. We know that. Manchester United are not that team that are pushing and knocking on the door for Champions League. Not getting a goalkeeper and not getting a midfielder, that absolutely confirms that. But what Manchester United have to be now, like I have said several times, is this. They have to be the best of the other 15 teams. That's all they have to do. My focus now, Manchester United are going to lose games this season. We're going to lose games. But it's going to be about how we get back from those games. It's going to be how we perform against the teams around us, against the Bournemouths, against the Brentfords, against the Evertons, the Brightons. Manchester United are going to have to make sure that they are the games that we go prepared and we try and get the wins for. Arsenal, we know that. Look, we outplayed Arsenal. I won't have anybody say we didn't. I saw rival fans telling us that we were laughable for saying that we outplayed Arsenal, but we did. Ryan's in the show. Ryan will admit that himself. Ryan's been very, very honest about that. Manchester United now, with the midfield options, we're just going to have to focus on getting these players through another season. We're going to have to. European football is the target. I don't care how we get it. I don't care if it's via a cup win or if it's finishing 8th or 7th. I don't care, but that's the way it has to be. Let's go through some more of these comments. Thought Garnacho was a Ronaldo admirer, maybe a Sancho instead. He seems to be following his lead. I love that comment, Steve. Guys, make sure you're smashing a like on the video as well. If you haven't, make sure you do. And also make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new. Niche fan says, let's use Bryan in midfield and get Anthony back in the 10. No. No, Niche fan, no. No, we cannot allow Anthony back in this team. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. He isn't good enough to play in the Premier League. Deadly serious. We're paying Anthony a fortune to go on loan to Betis when we can't afford a best-in-class midfielder. Yeah, but Niche fan, Anthony can't play in the 10. He's not good enough for the Premier League. Case in point. Amazing for Real Betis. Absolutely incredible in La Liga. What was his one terrible game? Against Chelsea, a Premier League side. He's not good enough. We cannot have this guy back in the squad. And actually, I'll go as far to say this. Why would we want this guy back in the squad? He is another one who is refusing to leave this club to go to other teams because he solely wants Betis. Don't want it. Don't want it. You do loans in January. What's happening out there? You do loans in January when you're out of options. Yeah, exactly that. Sabitzer was an obvious one with that. Chappie says, in what other world would you get paid for not working? They need to give players less power. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's footballers. Footballers have so much power. It's ridiculous. And big up, Queen Sophie. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. You definitely are. You're catching it as well with Newcastle at the moment, aren't you? Big up, Ryan, as well. Sorry, I needed to sit there. Niche fan says, we've got too many 10s, so I'm proposing to use Bryan in the midfield. He's basically, no. God, Niche fan, no. Niche fan, you know what? You know I love you. You know I love you, but you cannot put Bryan in that midfield. We are wasting a talent that is going to cause absolute havoc up the other end of the pitch. And let me tell you this as well, right? Again, this is just me talking. I'm not giving you hate. Square pegs, round holes. Manchester United's problem for the last 12 months with this formation. Square pegs, I can't even do it. Round holes. Putting Bryan back into the position where we would want to play Baleba is absolutely ludicrous, and it is wasting the talent of a brand new signing who would be incredible, who's going to be incredible in that position. My brother, good evening. I'm just asking you, where is Kobe Mainoo? Kobe Mainoo is going to be sitting on the bench a lot this season, Sultan, unfortunately. If we look at what United are going to be doing this season, the fact that Manchester United are going to utilise Kobe and Bruno fighting out for that position, and then you've got Ugarte and Casemiro fighting out for that position. It's not good. It's not good. And yes, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, people. Moxie says, I know what you're saying about Mount not being a midfielder, but neither is Bruno. Amorim has to try Mainu in there as a double pivot if persistent with Bruno as a midfielder or sign a CDM FFS. And I agree. But Moxie, we know the situation. We know that Bruno's not a midfielder. We know that. But unfortunately, he's the captain of the club. And I feel like Amorim has chucked all his eggs in that basket. And I think it's one of those things that could be Amorim's downfall. I'll say that. You know, I'm not going to sit here and not back my manager. I want to back the manager. The manager is someone that I believe in, but little mistakes create big cracks. And we had a little mistake at the weekend with Sesko not starting. And we have a little mistake here with Bruno being in that role in midfield, that 8, where he doesn't have the I don't think he has the discipline to do it. And what these they're turning into big holes, big holes, little cracks, big holes. It's going to be an interesting season. Now look, this group of players could band together and become, you know, a brotherhood of going us against the world. And we could go and we could do what I think we should be doing and what I hope we could be doing. And we could go and qualify for Europe. And then next season, when the money comes in, if we get European football, well, then we've got more money to spend to bring in more players, the next phase of what we're trying to do. And hopefully by then we can actually sit here and say Casemiro's gone, under contract. Maguire could potentially go because his contract would be up. Anthony would have hopefully be gone. Sancho definitely will be gone. Garnacho would have definitely been gone by then. Malacia definitely would have been gone. Already, though, we're in a situation where we're sat here wishing away players before the end of the current season. It's not great. It's not great. It's not great. And Ryan, big shout out. Yeah, getting Eze. That's mad, that is. So, Hojlund, yeah, the news on Hojlund is, and do you know something? It's a bit of an odd one with Hojlund. So the news is coming out, and it's been quite all over the place. So the news was coming out earlier on today that Hojlund only wanted a loan. He said, I don't want to leave the club forever. I want to go out there, have a season, and I want to be welcomed back. I don't want to be like Sancho, come back and be ushered out the club, or a Rashford. I want to go out there, do my bit, and I want to come back and be welcomed in. Well, the last few hours, sorry, it's now come out that apparently Napoli are really pushing for this guy. I think he works at Napoli as well, by the way. The only problem is, I don't think we should be getting rid of Rasmus. If we're not getting that midfield in, I don't think we should be getting rid of Rasmus. Because what I think we should be doing now, because we need to make sure that if we are going to keep Bruno in that central midfield, that we utilise Xerxes as a backup 10. And if we're using Xerxes as a backup 10, then you've got Rasmus to fall in line behind Xerxes, behind Sesko. I don't want him to go, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but unfortunately, realism has hit me as a United fan. We don't have the money. And yeah, you could say we could sell Rasmus and buy someone in after that, but I think if you sell Rasmus, I think we're still light a striker. That's my honest opinion on that. I could be wrong. You guys, have your opinions, and that's what I love about this channel. But for me, I think Rasmus is the last one we should be trying to fire out the door. So it's interesting. And yes, as Queen Sophie says, we've got Fulham on Sunday. Andy says the only way Maino gets in the team is if Bruno gets injured. Personally, Bruno needs to go. We shit the bed on that one. That's my first swear word of the stream. Sorry, guys. But we did. We shite the bed. Because what we did, we had a £100 million bid, and we chose our hearts instead of our heads. As a fan base, we went, it's Bruno. It's Bruno. We got to keep him. When our heads were saying, it's 100 million. It's 100 million. And if we'd have known then what we know now, that Manchester United were looking at Baleba, how many United fans would have said, get him gone. Get him gone. So we have to take the L on that. As a fan base, we have to take the L. Sick of this club being the ones to take the L. That, by the way, is going to be such a feisty game. Liverpool, Newcastle, that's going to be golden. That is going to be golden. Agree with you over Bruno, says Andy. Exactly. Look, it's realism as always. Shane. Arsenal fans, I love you. You know this. You know I love you, Arsenal fans, but you guys, you give me whiplash. You get and yeah, big up to yourself, Shane. But you do give me whiplash. And I saw this, that Arsenal fans are now thanking Ugarte for taking out Havertz to get the Eze deal done. You're welcome. But Arsenal fans, like, they go from like deliriously happy with things like this to get this man out of my club. I just, honestly, I love him. I love watching Arsenal fans. If Amorim sticks with Bruno, then he is no better than Ten Hag and his favourites. And look what happened to him there. Well, Andy makes a good point there. Andy does make a good point. And make sure you're liking and subscribing, people. Let's make sure we're keeping this going. He makes a great point. I think Bruno is a favourite of Amorim because how many managers, let me ask you this, how many managers, big managers, I'm talking Pep, Klopp, we'll say Slot, we'll say Fergie, we'll say all that. How many managers would look at Bruno and go, do you know what? I just want you in the team. I'll put you in midfield. I'll shoehorn you in there. How many managers would have the faith that they could do it? I don't think they do. I don't think they would. We've seen people like Pep get rid of people if they're going to hamper the way that the club moves forwards. They'll get rid. I do worry that Amorim's putting all of his faith in Bruno. And look, again, in 6 months' time, we could be all sat here going, Bruno has had an unreal season. Bruno's got 11 assists from this central midfield role. He's so disciplined. He's marshalled. He's putting the work in. How is this happening? Or we could be sat here in October going, Amorim's just been sacked. Michael Carrick's in charge. We're going to change the formation again, which is weird because we brought all these players in to become part of a system. And honestly, I think Bruno Fernandes could be the fine line between Amorim keeping his job and getting sacked. I genuinely do. I think Bruno could be that fine line. Blowy says, yo, Dan, hello. What's the news on the midfield signing? The news is we ain't getting one, brother. Manchester United are not getting a midfielder. It's done. Manchester United at the moment, until we sell these players who put themselves as, these people who have been let down by Manchester United, we're hurt, we just want what's right for us. My name's Jadon Sancho. I just want the 250 grand a week. I deserve it. I deserve it. You don't deserve anything. So until we can get rid of these players, there's no midfield. Now, again, what I will say is, and we all know this, deadline day, week on Monday. You better believe I'm going to be watching that like a hawk, because I still think after all of this that if we do get these players out of the squad, out of the club, I do think, you know what I'm going to say, because I've been saying it for weeks, that Manchester United still have a silly signing in them. A crazy signing. A signing that makes you go, whoa. It all relies on us getting rid of these players. It all relies on it. Who are your two backups? Who are your backup 10s, Dan? Was it Xerxes and Mate? Yes, it was, Steve. Yeah, it was definitely Xerxes and Mate. So if your transfer business is done, where are you finishing? 8th to 10th is still my prediction. Do you know something, Soph? I don't think United are in as much trouble as rival fans make us out to be, because, and I'll say this, I don't think we're a million miles behind Newcastle. I think Newcastle have signed some decent players and they're looking to try and get the players over the line. But unfortunately, what Newcastle have, as much as they are, your fan base are loyal and you're unified, what Newcastle have is Isak at the moment doing his utmost to destroy everything in that club. That will have a ripple effect. Aston Villa, I don't think Aston Villa have gone anywhere near to the lengths that they should have done to try and bridge the gap and get back into Champions League. Brighton go out there and make decent signings. They bring in these gems and we go, how the hell have they found these players? Spurs other than the Eze news, Spurs have bought okay. They'll be up there, but I don't look at clubs below like where I think the top 5 will be. I don't look at those clubs and go, we are light years behind them. I don't, and you can call me an idiot for thinking that, but I just look at the transfer business, and again, I fully expect Newcastle to bring a couple more players in. It all depends on the striker they bring in, and to be fair to Pete, to be fair to Daz and Chris, they're very, they're very stuck in the position of Isak won't go. But regardless, I still think you need two strikers because Daz made a very good point. Newcastle haven't replaced Callum Wilson yet, so they've got to replace two. So I'm not as concerned with Newcastle this season. I'm not, and I don't mean that in a way of I don't think we're better than Newcastle, but I certainly don't think Newcastle are light years ahead of us. Got a great manager in Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe has done wonders there, but I just fear with what's been happening. I wonder when it will start taking a toll on this poor guy. And then, of course, Villa. Villa have not really done anything. They've not done madness. I thought they'd do a madness, but we're still looking at the fallout from last season with Rashford going there, with Asensio. I know Asensio is still being linked. These are the clubs that should have been bridging their gap to the top five. They should have been really pushing. Newcastle in Champions League. I think with no Europe this season, Manchester United do have a better chance of catching these sort of teams up. But look, I've been wrong before. Jeff says, I think at this point, if United can't sell Sancho, Garnacho and Anthony, then the team is never going to be seen as a team who actually wants players who want to play, not just to go there for the money. Well, I disagree with this, Jeff, in a sense, because what you're seeing there with the three players that have come for, are doing exactly that, is that they're not allowed near the first team. They've been bombed out of the squad, haven't they? They've been essentially told that you will not play, you will not train with the squad. Ineos can't do anything about the contracts that were paid to these people. I know Garnacho is only on 50k, to be fair, only 50k, but I don't think that's as big a problem as we think it is what you're saying there. Again, if that was the case, then I think we would have struggled to get Sesko. I think we'd have struggled to get Cunha and Bryan. So I'm not so sure, but I take your point. Negative to a positive. Any chance Isak starts the Newcastle Liverpool game? Absolutely not, Anthony. There is no chance. Yeah, there's no chance. That guy has done his absolute best to burn all bridges there. And I've said this, look, Manchester United fans, we've been there. So we understand how Newcastle feel. We've been there with Ronaldo. Ronaldo didn't do this. Ronaldo had that agreement. He said, right, okay, I'll put one more season, I'll give my all, and then I'm going. I don't think that conversation that Isak's claiming has ever happened. I really don't. I don't think that at all. But we have been there where players that we've loved have left us. Beckham, I cried my eyes out. I absolutely cried my eyes out. It happens. But what I'm trying to get, I'm going round and round here. But what I'm trying to say is Newcastle United will be there long after Isak leaves. So it'll hurt at the moment, but they'll get over it. Of course they will. Liverpool strikers go for his legs. Newcastle go for the kneecaps. Yikes. 2 more signings and we'll be a force, says Chappie. Looks unlikely, but let's hope we can smash it. Chappie, in what world are you the one being positive and I'm the one being pessimistic? I love that, buddy. Love that. Blawy says, even with a good midfield, we played decent. Even without a good midfield, we played decent in the midfield against Arsenal. But if we sign a midfielder, this would improve a lot as well. And this is true. And again, I will go back to what I said about where we need to be in the league. We are going to take some whoopings this season. Like City, City. Listening to LB the other day, just crack on as if they beat Ballon d'Or-esque footballers. They beat Wolves, who've lost half of their team, and he's coming to me and saying my team are shite. I love that. I absolutely love that. The likes of him, and I watched other people on the Football's 12th Man do it as well, talking about United, and I'm like, lads, United aren't in Europe. United finished 15th last season, and you still can't get us out your mouth. Do you know what I mean? It's like, grow up. But what I'm saying is, we will take some beatings from the top teams. Liverpool will take a beating from them. City, if they get it right, because Reinders is just ridiculous, will take beatings from them. We have to, with these games, just dust ourselves down off after every performance that it happens, and it will happen, and it will hurt when it happens. We just have to dust ourselves off and go back to the next game and look at who we've got next and say, right, there we go. And it will happen. It will happen. We could lose Kobe because of Bruno. I disagree, Andy. I think the reason is I think Kobe probably knows one more year of Bruno and then he'll start coming through. Steve says it's just us with these problem players because I never hear problem players at City, Liverpool. Steve, we just spoke about one. Isak. Isak's the biggest problem player out there. Sophie will tell you that. But I hear what you're saying with contracts. Yeah, I agree. Sophie says, my prediction is based on... Are you saying Arsenal to win the league, Soph? Or are you saying Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, Forest, I think are better than United? Well, by that logic, Soph, that's European football for United, and I'd take that. I think there's a conversation to be had with. I think United are a lot closer to Villa and to Newcastle than a lot of people would have you think. Forest look decent, to be fair. I can't lie with Forest. You know, as much as he knows how to annoy me sometimes. But Wolfie's lot, they've seemed to the last couple of weeks bought really well. Can't be done if we don't get a keeper. It'll be a travesty. Yeah, I agree. And let's get the likes up, people. Make sure we're doing that. What are we on with the likes? I haven't even checked, to be fair. We're only on 12 likes, people. Let's get those likes up tonight, please. I'd rather see a few more likes than that. Let's get them up to 20 if we can. That'd be fantastic. No, and of course, Sophie, it's just your opinion. I get that. Don't worry. I'm certainly not moaning at you. I'm just saying I don't think we're as far off as people would lead to believe. I think. Can't disagree with you, says Anthony. You think Barnes will get benched for Murphy on? Okay, that's Newcastle. I don't know. For us, my biggest worry is keeper. Let's face it, no one has any confidence in them. No way the defence has any. I mean, look, we've got to have blind faith that Onana's going to pull a madness, because at the moment, that's all we have. We can either sit here and go, well, that's it, the season's ruined, and talk ourselves out of every game, or we can sit there defiant and say, right, okay, Manchester United have made some signings. We know what we need to improve on. We've seen signs of it. Let's push on. The one thing I will say about Onana is he is better than Bayindir, and, you know, is he much better? No, he's not, but he's definitely better. So you'd like to think that we would improve in the goalkeeping position. But I just, other than that, I kind of feel like United need to now focus. We need to focus. We need to focus on what we've got in the squad and utilise that as the best that we can. Mustafa says, AC Milan, RB Leipzig, yeah. Oh, yeah, with regards to Hojlund going on loan with an obligation. City were always going to be better than they were last season. It was an anomaly with the teams underperforming. They will be there or thereabout come May. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, Arsenal have a lot of deadwood. Jesus, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu's gone, hasn't he? I think Tomiyasu's gone, and I think Jesus is on his way out. For me, Villa, Newcastle aren't better than us. The way we played each other was awful for the. Yeah, I just don't see that. I don't see that United are that far behind Newcastle. Look, if Newcastle go out and sign 2 top strikers, well, then I will sit here and I will say, okay, well, they've gone out and they've improved themselves a bit further. But at the moment, I don't see Newcastle as a team that I go, Jesus Christ, they are light years ahead. In development of the system they play, they are, but I just think there's a lot more to be said for the problems that they've had in the background with respect to Isak. So, you know, there is some news that they reckon that the senior players, and we know that actually because after Isak released that statement, Bruno Guimaraes puts out an Insta of himself. They're fuming with the player. And that's why I still think they should sell him. But, you know, again, this is United, isn't it? Not Newcastle. We will be a lot closer next season or even after Christmas. But no matter how good the players are, they need time to gel. Anthony, I agree and I disagree. I think United, they've had plenty of time. Obviously, let's be honest, Bryan and Cunha against Arsenal looked like they played for United for the last 10 years. They looked fine. I've got no concerns about them gelling. I want to see Sesko play. We haven't seen the guy play yet. We're all talking about United are doomed. We could have a striker there that could potentially get us 15 goals in the league. Do you know what I mean? That already is an improvement of what we had last season. Bryan and Cunha is already an improvement of what we had last season. Dorgu is an improvement of what we had last season because Dorgu has improved since what he's been doing. Diallo and Dallo, that is an improvement of what we saw happening last season. So there have been Lenny Yoro, developed since last season, is an improvement of what Manchester United had last season. The only parts you worry about is, can De Ligt play like he played against Arsenal week in, week out? I'm not so sure. Maguire, when he's ready to step in and do the same, can he have the performances? Certainly hope so. We have that left-sided centre-back that still, for me, is a slight issue. And the slight issue is Luke Shaw. Can he stay fit? Well, it's World Cup year. You'd like to think he can. Lisandro Martinez, when he comes back, will he be the same player that we hoped he would be when we signed him? The butcher, takes no prisoners, can pass out from the back. This guy's had 2 really bad injuries in a short space of time. There are so many question marks in little positions within Manchester United. Now, unfortunately, in the Premier League, you cannot run on a squad of having... You can't run well with one weak position. You'll get found out. But when you have 2 or 3, that's when the issues happen. And those 2 and 3 at the moment are the midfield, the defence on the left side, I'd say, and the goalkeeper. So there's a lot of potential issues for Manchester United. However, I still see a world, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and I will stay positive in saying this. I see a world where Manchester United aren't anywhere near the position they were last season. And I think it has to start against Fulham on Sunday. United go away to Fulham on Sunday, and this is the thing that will irritate me, and this is the thing that Manchester United are going to have to get used to this summer, this transfer window, this season. If we go to Fulham and dominate them and beat them, well, then you know what will happen. It will be, it's only Fulham. They didn't sign anybody this summer, and United haven't got Europe, so that was easy. United have to literally close off from all that noise. Us as fans, we have to close off from all that noise. Our focus is on Manchester United becoming a better side. Our focus is on watching these players develop into a squad, a team that can go out there and make us proud. We have to shut away the noise. And I've been horrendous at allowing that noise to get in with me. I mean, honestly, Monday I was fuming. But I do think that there is a world where Manchester United can do something this season. And, we'll see rival fans say, United are absolute shite. They're rubbish. That's fine. Absolutely fine. But I've seen teams before be looked at as absolutely, nonsensical and nowhere near it and have gone on to do great things. Manchester United, for all the banter we get from some fan bases, is hilarious considering we've won 2 trophies in the last 3 seasons. That's a lot more than a lot of teams in this division as it is. So a bit of realism is what I'm saying. Bit of realism. What else have we got here? Sorry, I'm neglecting some of these comments. I'm enjoying this tonight, guys. Make sure you're getting your questions in and make sure you're hitting the like button. I want to make sure we get the subscribers up and the likes. Moxie says, Forest have made some good signings now, to be fair, and Chris Wood is still banging them in. Do you know what I loved about Chris Wood's goal on Sunday? As Forest win the ball back, he is already gone. He's turned and he knows exactly where that is. And that is a team that is well drilled in that is a group of players that have trust and have the communication and have worked on this week in, week out. And there is nothing stopping Bruno Fernandes being able to play in Sesko the way that Chris Wood was played in that game. It's all about trust. It's all about having belief and backing of the players. We need these players to be united. It's that. I don't have Arsenal winning the league at all, says Sophie. Wow. I still think we bring a midfielder in like a Grome in, says Mustafa. Apparently Fabrizio's kiboshed that one. He's completely kiboshed that one. Shivran, I don't know if he's in here tonight. He couldn't stand that player. As the great Tony Adams would say, Arsenal ain't winning the league with Odegaard as captain. Yeah. Oh, Christ almighty, there's a bit going in the chat tonight. Love this. And yeah, Tommy Asso's gone. Yeah, I agree with that. Brentford, and this is another thing as well. Newcastle are finding out what it's like to be United. They really are. Brentford are awful to try and negotiate with. Absolutely awful to try and negotiate with. Anthony says, would love Shaw to be fit for a season. He would make us stronger, but I effing doubt it. Do you know something? I think Luke Shaw's going to stay fit this season. It's World Cup season. He will be on that plane to the World Cup. Honestly, Luke Shaw, there's 3 things in life that you can be sure of. Death, taxes, and Luke Shaw making the England squad for a major tournament. It's just the way it goes, guys. It's just the way it goes. You know how it goes with it. And guys, we're on 17 likes. Let's try and get up to 20. There's 37 of you in here, which means that I reckon about 20 of you haven't hit the like button. So can you just do me a favor and hit that like button for me now? That would be absolutely great. Thank you very much. Same as we were thinking with Watkins, decent price for 2 or 3 seasons. Yeah, I agree with that. United absolutely, I think, missed out on that. But at the same time, Sesko could go out and do what they want, couldn't they? Sesko could go out and pull a madness, and we could be sat here saying we made the right choice. Brentford are entitled to ask what they want, as it's their player. Can't fault them, to be honest. Yeah, but Sophie, the problem is now, I remember Newcastle fans saying to me, "You're overpaying for Bryan Mbeumo. You are going to be overpaying for Visser now. Visser is not worth 50 million. He's 29. He ain't worth 50 million." And this is unfortunate. And as Ryan says there, I won't say the word, but because of the transfer issues you've had, you are going to pay it. And look at this. No, Moxie, definitely not. That's what I got. Eze, mate. Arsenal won't go for Nicholas Jackson, but I think Newcastle will. I think Newcastle or Aston Villa will go for him now. Top 6 man. Yeah, that's what I like to see, John Angle. I love to see that, mate. Love to see that. And like and sub if you're enjoying the show. Help your boy Dan out. Yes, it definitely does help people. You're beautiful people, you. We did well against top clubs last season. We need to be consistent, says Chappie. We did, but that was where we fell off, wasn't it? Because Manchester United last season had a decent record against the top 6. But everyone around us, we absolutely shite ourselves when we played them. I think this season it will be the opposite. I think Manchester United this season will have a horrendous record against the top 6. I do. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Like I said, the teams below, that is where our bread and butter is. That is where we have to be defined as a club this season. We have to go out there and we have to make sure that we are beating these teams and finishing the top of that mini table. A lot of clubs really wanted to do some deals. Hopefully there will be a cascade of sales. And yeah, they will. And look, I'm sat here saying that Manchester United won't get anybody else in. Manchester United absolutely could. Manchester United absolutely could get another signing or two in. We could go out there and get a goalkeeper. We could go out there and get a midfielder. But this all rests on the players that I've spoken about before. Sancho, Malacia, Garnacho, and Anthony. It rests on them. Yeah, you can put Hojlund into there. I said there was a world where Casemiro left the club. No chance now. No chance now. He'll play a lot of football this season, Casemiro. Yeah, we did well against top clubs last season. We need to be consistent. And as Nave says, yes, 41 watching, only 16 likes. Make sure you are hitting the likes, please. We definitely want to be getting them to at least 20 tonight. I tell you what as well, I am going to change the, and there we go, straight over 22. That's brilliant, that is. I am going to be changing the time that we do the streams. And I think I'm going to do it from Monday. So from Monday, I'm going to decide on what the new time is going to be. I'm thinking it might be around about 6:30, 7. Because look, the football's on and you guys want to watch the football as much as I do. Shaw and Mount fit all season an England pick. I don't think Matt will go. Actually, could Mason Mount make the World Cup? You know, that'll be a redemption story. Oh, no. I agree with that, John. Moxie, come on. We cannot use Martinez as a central defensive midfielder. He's not strong enough. He's not quick enough in the turn. I think he would be absolutely exposed there. I wouldn't like to see him play there. I really wouldn't. And actually, you kind of started it well there, actually, with the if Shaw plays well enough and stays fit, then absolutely he plays over Martinez. But what's wrong with having them two going for the same position? But yeah, no, we can't have Martinez playing in CDM. It wouldn't work. He only played a couple. I tell you what, let's dispel a myth here. Don't worry, Moxie, I'm not coming for you. I promise. I want to just dispel a myth though here. Lisandro Martinez transfer market. Let's get this up. Let's have a look. You know, I love transfer market. We'll have it in English, not in German. Thank you very much. Right. So if we go, why on earth they've got adverts of? Come on, right. Bloody hell. These adverts, man, they do me head in. Let me just zoom out a second. Let me bring this up, and we'll go through this properly. View full stats. Here we go. Do you know what is horrendous? is that Martinez has been with us 3 years and still hasn't played as many games in the Premier League as he did in Holland. That is horrendous. Right. Let me bring this up for you, folks. Let me just zoom in on this one because I feel like we need to. I feel like we need to see this. I think we need to have a conversation. So this is how many times Martinez has played in defensive midfield. Let me zoom in a bit more for you. Just bring that there a second. Right. I don't know who that advert is there. Bugger off. That is why I don't want Martinez playing in defensive midfield, because unfortunately what we've got here, and again, Moxie, I'm not coming for you. Please don't think I am. And I've seen your comment. I'll come to that in a second, mate. But what I am saying with this is we go back to the conversation about square pegs, round holes. He's played 22 times in his career there. I mean, yeah, okay, he scored twice and got an assist. But what I'm saying is square pegs, round holes. We're kind of, and again, not a Moxie, but I see a lot of people drop in the chat and say, "Oh, he can play there. He can play there." Like we're acting like Martinez has played there, you know, for half of his career. He hasn't. He's dropped in there when needed every now and then. And I think Ten Hag was one of the ones once that came out and said, "Yeah, he's played there, but he's not a defensive midfielder." This is why I think Manchester United need that defensive midfielder. We need the backup there. We shouldn't have got rid of Toby Collier if we weren't going to be able to sell people. I was about to remove myself from the bloody stage there. And I go back to this. This is the midfield options that we have. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Ugarte, Mainu, and then you've got Mount apparently that could be used there, as Amarim said, and you've got Kone. So United have got to get it right. Got to get it right. And let's have a look. Can anyone tell me who Arsenal signed tonight? I missed it. Oh, God, honestly, I might give you a timeout for that, you bugger. Just rubbing it in our faces. And yes, it's me, Everest. Good to see you, my friend. Shout out to all the OGs, regular mods, and of course, Danny Boy. It's great to see you. Great to hear from you. And yes, make sure you're liking the stream. Don't be a bacon. Palace supposedly accepted 60 million Arsenal bid. Honestly, Arsenal have done good business there. These boys are bringing lunch so they can put in a day's work. To be fair, Leacher used to play as CDM sometimes, and this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. It seems Dan also uses Transfer Market just like me. Honestly, if you're not using Transfer Market, what are you using? It's absolutely brilliant. And what we got here? Stadium New now. What's this? Sorry, my Northampton Football Club. Yeah, sorry to hear that, buddy. Ben says, evening all, late in tonight. We'll catch up on what I've missed later. Said it before. We don't buy anybody. I reckon Mazraoui would be a decent CDM. Not ideal, I know. Better than the alternatives. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Mazraoui, because I'm not sure he can play there, can he? Mazraoui. I think I've spelled that wrong, haven't I? Bloody hell. How far are you zooming in there? Is it Mazraoui? Mazraoui, I think it is, isn't it? How can I not know how to spell my bloody player's name? There he is. It's Maz. Oh, I put it in the wrong position. Let's have a look at. Right, so this is the problem with that, though, Ben. Oh, that's the problem there. Let's get rid of all that. This is the problem with Mazraoui. Mazraoui cannot. Mazraoui's never played there. I'll share the screen again. Mazraoui has never played in CDM. And when you talk about Manchester United putting square pegs in round holes, I would not feel comfortable with putting this lad in a position he's never played before. And if anything, if we were going to do it, we should have utilised him. Well, I'd say that he's been injured throughout pre-season, hasn't he? I suppose, yeah, honestly. And this, right, also, let me just say this as well. Don't worry, Anthony, not aimed at you. This message is to Rio Ferdinand. In what world do you think, you drip, that Crystal Palace, after seeing Eze go to Arsenal, will go, yeah, go on, Wharton, off you go as well. Honestly, if any of you have not seen, let me see if I can bring it up. Let me see if I can find it. Honestly, it infuriates me. Rio, I'll put Wharton. Right, here we go. This is. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. I want to get this completely right. Rio Ferdinand believes Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton could be a perfect fit for Newcastle, drawing comparisons to legend Michael Carrick. With United seeking midfield reinforcements, Wharton, who thrives under pressure, may be an alternative. And I'm just sat there going, why? Like, why do these ex-players think that they know all there is to know about what Manchester United should be doing in the transfer market? Oh, Christ. Palace is already a hard club to deal with in transfers. They won't let go two of their key players in one window. Well, I don't know. I think Gay might go as well. Oh, Ryan. Oh, God. Ryan. Okay, let me ask Ryan. Does this mean you win the Premier League now? Does this mean that Arsenal win the Premier League now with Eze? I wonder if you're... No! Chat, please. Right, chat. I'm coming in here. I'm going to talk really close to you. Chat. Stop trying to square peg our players to play CDM. Mazraoui can't do it. Yoro can't do it. Martinez can't do it. Next year we're saying Chuck Slabad there. No chance. Absolutely not. Let's stop trying to put these people there. Eze doesn't start over Cunha. Yeah, I agree with that, actually. I completely agree with that comment. Is the Eze deal done? Onana Stadium. Oh, you people make me laugh, I tell you. Honestly, you people make me laugh. Oh, dearie me. Right then, guys, before we finish, can we make sure that we're hitting the like button and the subscribe button? We're on 22 likes. Let's try and get them up quickly now before we finish. And Wahaha says, can we put Ahmad in CDM? Well, you know we try, mate. You know we do a decent job, but I don't think so. Onana would be better at CDM. Onana's, well, do you know something? Onana's a terrible football agent. He had us all believing that he got Belabor in there. Arsenal fans love to celebrate in October and start crying by May when they win nothing, says Kieran. I love that comment. I'm thinking about it, Slabhead CDM. Imagine Harry Maguire as the CDM. Oh my God, that would be mint. I would pay to watch that. And where Mainu's on the bench and he can't seem to get away from it. That's the problem. Now then, guys, let me just remind you all, as I said, after Monday, we will be changing the times. We will be bringing the slots slightly earlier. It will either be 6:30 or 7. I'm not sure yet. Hopefully I'll have an answer for you before then. And also, I promised you a prize. To let you know what the prize was going to be for fantasy football. What I'm going to do before the game on Sunday, because we're going to have Kev, who's going to be doing the live stream with me. We're going to do it from his studio. We're going to announce the prize on there, but keep an eye out for that one. Celtic at home with 0-0 with the mighty Cairo. Oh my goodness me, master stroke if ever there was one. I'm telling you. Give Maguire the 16. I agree, Wahaha. Imagine the meltdown from rival fans. It would be biblical. Ryan, you sacked your trophy policy years ago. Can't see you employing another one. See, I'm thinking that as well, Moxie. I'm thinking the 6:30. I think 6:30 would be a decent time for us to be able to get in there and have a good chat. He plays up the wing, up the front. Why not? Harry floats like a breeze. Block Maguire. I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, guys, we'll leave it on that. Harry Maguire, the answer to our central defensive midfielder situation. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell to make sure it lets you know when we're going active. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Other than that, folks, Dan United, Harry Maguire for CDM. Oota!